Gentlemen, you had my instructions earlier. You know what I expect. A good, clean fight. Obey my commands. Protect yourself at all times. Touch gloves. Good luck.
Now this young man is doing it at welterweight. And Rodrigo Coria, well, he closed out 2022 in great fashion. Argentina won the World Cup, and he's starting off just 1 day shy of turning 24 years old, trying to pull off the upset here in Turning Stone, New York. But Norman going straight to work with the body shots against the southpaw. Lands a nice right hook on the inside, and he's got Coria pinned, and then he's punishing him. Coria ready to go down, but he just won't.
Norman landing some heavy shots. Anything you can throw as a fighter, he's throwing it. Uppers, overhand rights, left hooks, body shots.
And he's
not just taking it.
Yeah, he's not just throwing it, Dre. He's landing him.
And they're landing heavy.
You okay?
I don't think he's okay, Dre. His legs are kind of shaky.
Good body shot right there from Norman.
Break, don't punch.
Norman's got to stay downstairs and then come back up top and try to catch Coria slipping. Probably the last couple weeks on how he wanted to come at Coria. But I like that he jumped on Coria because Coria's a good fighter. He's solid. And you don't want to let a guy like that get into a rhythm.
Reacting to what your opponent does.
Got to use your IQ.
Set up your shots, yes. There's that first jab of the fight. Did the right thing in allowing Coria to work his way out of a stunning start from Brian Norman Jr. in his top-ranked debut. And
land and throw in this first round. That one grazed right there. He came to the body. Good move when you have a fighter covering up his head. Then you go back to the head right there. Both of those shot landed. And you see Coria trying to get out of the way, but he's hurt. His body's not moving as fast as it typically would if he wasn't hurt. So it's hard to evade those shots when you're dazed like that. But he did it enough to be able to weather that first round. But I like the arsenal of Norman. He mixed things up. He didn't just throw one type of punch, and he didn't just go to the head. Like I said before, he went to the body, then went back to the head, which allowed him to land clean shots.
Shout out to Louis out of the RGBA Academy. And there you see Norman landing a nice uppercut, and now Coria letting his hands go.
And what I mean by that is he needs to be caught up in boxing, piling up points, and establishing his game plan. And if he lands something that hurts Coria or gets him out of there, then so be it. But if Coria is nothing else, he's tough.
Nice left from Coria. Now digging to the body of Norman, but Norman comes back with a body shot of his own.
Norman has a good flicking jab, but he hasn't shown a power jab or a different speed to his jab.
Coria now working to the body. Taking those steps forward.
Coria's game, he just doesn't have the physical attributes to hang punch for punch.
Interesting part about Norman is that he's been there before. He has gone the distance 3 times as a pro. Nice right hand from Norman. That's what Coria just did. He saw an opening, lands again. And he stayed alert too, Dre. I mean, because a lot of times you lose your cool, you look towards your corner, you don't stay in the moment. And I think that's another thing that Coria was able to handle, was staying in the moment. When the referee, he saw the referee coming in, he threw a shot. Like, he did all the right things to not allow Mark Nelson to do his job.
And he did all the right things to keep himself in this fight, and he's in the moment now. He's not dominating this round, but he's certainly touching Norman upstairs, downstairs, and this round, Norman hasn't had any answers.
All the young guns of the heavyweight division, Ajagba, McKean, Makhmadov, Yoka, and Shaw. A gauntlet that Johnny Rice has gone through, and now he adds Vianello to that list.
Yes, he does. On short notice, I might add.
Absolutely. That happened when Shaw moved up to be the main event fighter against Ajagba. You see Norman now starting to shoot his shot. Nice overhand right,
Good shot
and then
right
left.
there from Coria.
But then there's that answer, Dre.
Yes.
I think you said it best. I mean, Coria's shots have all been flush. Like that one.
Another one right
it's
there.
Clean.
Another one right there.
Now Coria's backing up Norman, who has to tie up. There's also that pressure of wanting to impress. This is his top-ranked debut. He just signed in the month of December. He saw Shushu Carrington earlier. He understands what's at stake for him.
But that's what comes with it, and that's what you say you wanted, so now you got to step up.
And now he is stepping up. He's walking down Coria. But I'm seeing arm punches, Dre. You mentioned the fatigue factor.
Fatigue is set in. He's a muscular guy up top. He's got big calves. He got big legs. He's a muscular fighter.
But the other thing, Dre, a year-long layoff after going 4-0 in 2021.
Yes.
Not the same being in the gym as catching live fire like Coria's throwing now.
Coria's landing some shots. Then you start to get hit. You can start to ask yourself certain questions. Norman needs to quickly get that out of his mind and get to work.
Nice counter right from Norman.
Stop.
And here is Rodrigo Coria giving Brian Norman Jr. all he could handle in round 7.
A good, educated jab from Norman would stop a lot of that noise from Coria. It would keep him at bay. It would make him think twice before he throws. And Norman has done a lot of good things in this fight. He's got good offense. He's got good power. Maybe a clash of heads right there.
Yeah, but before that clash of heads, Coria landed a straight left. And now another left that seems to shake Norman to his boots. Will Coria recognize it and try to finish Norman as he has him against the ropes, landing beautiful power shots? Now the tide is turned in favor of Coria. Let's see what kind of answer Norman has as he lands a nice left hook.
It's hard to take these last couple rounds away from Coria because he's landed more. You look for the response from Norman, and it's not always there.
Probably 3 clear rounds for each, 1 swing round, and this last round, which we'll have to see who comes out on top, as Norman was opening up, and now down goes Coria.
Started to land to the body, and Norman Sr. started letting Norman know about it, but here comes Norman storming back.
3rd time being knocked down as a professional. And can he finish how he started as Brian Norman Jr. has an opportunity against a hurt Rodrigo Coria?
That hasn't been perfect, even though he's done some good things. But for him to stop a guy like Coria would say a lot for the power and the durability.
Never been past round 7 has Brian Norman Jr. until tonight. And he's showing that his power carries as he once again sends Coria to the ropes.
Yes, it does.
Coria has no quit in him, just like Argentina getting to penalty kicks against France. And now the face expression has changed. Coria is trying to gut it out, and Norman is intent and focused on finishing this fight. Big credit to Rodrigo Coria for making it to the 8th and final round.
Good fight.
Dre, both guys had their moments, and this is a great fight for the development of Brian Norman Jr. against a southpaw who could take a shot and who can deliver 1-2.
All in favor of your winner by unanimous decision. Brian the Assassin to Norman Jr.
These are a bit high, so I'm going to let him work with everything in here. Préstame atención, protégete en todo momento, play duro, play limpio. ¿Está bien? Listen, obey my commands all the time, protect yourself at all times, fight hard, fight clean, good luck to both. Yeah, 8 rounds.
We saw Brian Norman Jr. We thought we were going to be out of there after 1 round. He got started pretty quick in that last one, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Jesus Perez, 24-4, 18 knockouts. He's fought a lot of undefeated guys. He is all his fight and loss against Alexis Rocha. Not an easy task, but he put up a good fight in that one.
Yeah, Perez is a vet. Doesn't mind coming into different guys' home.
Good, you see a very calculated attack at this point from Norman Jr., who slips away from a looping shot there from Perez. And there's a body shot with the left hand for Perez that lands.
not a dance, it's a walk.
And there uses a shot instead of a hold to kind of get out of the corner there.
Dangerous move, but he got away with it.
Nice combination up top, and then gets caught up with a few shots, but some that landed behind the head there from Perez.
Of conversation, that type of energy that his father is infusing in him is going to cause him to go right back there and start fighting when he's supposed to be boxing. I do like the part of the conversation where his father said, you seem to be giving him too much respect. I like that. He needs to remember that he's the boss, and I'm talking about Norman. He's the A side. He's the guy that's supposed to dominate this fight and obviously win.
And I do feel like he came into that last fight, and what he even said too, that a lot of pressure. His top-ranked debut, he just signed to a big promoter, had his manager behind him, his first fight back after a layoff. So he doesn't bring anything that can pose you a risk. Go ahead and let him know that you're the big dog in there. Changes it up.
Down the center of opponent's face, you know you got something working for you. Good shot right there from Norman. Straight a little low, but a good move from the young fighter.
And I do like how he's getting everything started with the jab, with that lead left hand, establishing that early and using it to set up the right hand, which we do know has some power.
Now you see Norman settling down just a little bit, and you know that because the first round he was tight. Every movement was tight, but he's slipping shots, ducking from shots.
Whereas Perez's style, he just has this herky-jerky rhythm about him. He's always moving if he's not throwing punches.
He is who he is.
Stab jab a little more down to the body there for Perez. Comes around with the hook and gets caught with a counter left from Norman.
Well, Perez got one shot at a time, won't do it.
There's a nice left that got in there for Perez, and a right catching Norman pulling straight back there.
So that's a good sweet sequence right there. Perez led the combination, got hit, but then he finished. Good shot from both fighters. Body shot from Norman, overhand right from Perez.
Good into the round there.
Against top competition because he's only had to be at a certain gear in all of his fights. But when he's forced to pull everything, you know, out of his repertoire and show us what that Kazakh style really is all about, I think we'll get a full display at that point.
I think it's something he himself has been clamoring for quite some time. So we'll see if tonight's performance can entice any of those big names in that division to the big names. He hasn't shied away from that at all. And he needs it, quite frankly, but more on that conversation as we move along later on tonight. Again, Junior and Jesus Perez. Good exchange at the end of round 2 there, Dre, but pretty much Norman Jr. in cruise control since the opening bell.
Right, and I agree with his father. After long for you to see exactly what a fighter is all about. Good shot right there from Perez. Perez is steady, he's gonna come forward, and when he feels comfortable, he's gonna throw. But Norman more from a skill set standpoint than Perez. And I think he can step things up because if not, he's going to keep giving Perez confidence and Perez will take full advantage and keep throwing big shots.
Well, one of the things he told us too when we spoke, wanted to emphasize on going to the body and the body attack, something he has not yet quite established yet early.
Right, it's consistency, and that's what needs to between a professional and an amateur, just consistency. Can you take a game plan and be consistent all the way through? You see Norman do it and then he gets away from it.
There gets out of distance with the flurry of welterweight division. If you want to start to make some noise and start to step up and get some bigger fights, you got to make yourself look levels above guys like this. No disrespect to Jesus Perez, but he has big plans for his future, does Norman.
That's right.
A flurry of not a lot of punches that exchange or that connect there for Perez at the end of round 3. Let's see if we see that transition here as we start round 4. Christina Ponter and Andre Ward with you on the call for the first fight of the night, a double championship world title fights coming up later this evening. Some nice defensive prowess. He's been able to show that he's mastered some of that distance, that timing that Perez is using, throwing those kind of wild shots. All that, as I say that, he gets clipped with the left hand.
In the ladder, he'll be facing bigger punchers.
That head grazing with that shot, and the left hand, he has done a good job of varying it. Hasn't really let it go. Hasn't really let it fly the way that we've seen him in the past. Down to the body there, but partially blocked by that elbow of Perez.
Doing the tough work to cut off the ring and track Norman down, so you might as well punch when you get there. Not with one shot like that, but with both hands. Just like that. Good two-piece right there from Perez. One slightly missed, Norman, the other landed.
About picking up the pace and stepping on the gas pedal as we turn to the second half of the fight, round 5. Down to the body with the left hand twice there for Butler. Perez answers with a body shot with the left hand.
Given and conceded respect in places with Perez that he just shouldn't have. Well, just because Perez his body is in front of you and he's trying to cut off the ring, it doesn't mean you have to get on your bike and move around. You
got caught with a shot there, Dre.
Just unnecessary things that are happening to exactly executed that, and I think some of it is nerves, and I think some of it is confidence. You know, these are big stages. It's not that everybody hasn't filled in the arena yet, but this is a big playing his part, pressing forward, taking the shots,
like
throwing his own shots, and trying to land as often as he can.
Nice lead left hand once again for Norman, who for a second maybe thought about switching southpaw and then right back to orthodox. Looping shot there for Perez as Norman spent most of the fight, moving around the outside of the ring in the same direction. Hasn't really. Norman trying to answer from against the ropes. More of the right hand that I haven't really seen him sit down and let it go and throw it how we've seen in the past. I know I've said that before, but I'm just kind of surprised at why he's yet to really unleash that.
I think it's both. I think, like we said, the left sets up the right, but I think there's even more work that Norman could be doing with the left hand because he's had success. It's landed flush on the face of Perez pretty much most of the time he throws it, so why get away from it? Why get away from something that's working from you and make the fight harder? And that's just what Norman is doing. He's making a fight harder than it has to be.
Now and again in these exchanges, Perez gets one, and I mean, Norman gets it right back, but it's just enough to make you think like, okay, I'm gonna get back moving around the outside again instead of just trying to stand there maybe a little bit and mix it up. Showing him right now he's just confident with working around the outside. Yeah,
that's called separation. And at this stage, when you're trying to present and represent yourself, good jab right there from Norman to the world, you want separation. You want to see the difference between you and everybody that you fight, and Norman's not doing that at the moment.
And a little shot on the inside scores for Perez, who's thrown a couple uppercuts in that exchange. Down to the body goes Perez.
And Norman has been in, and I know sparring is different than a fight, but he's been in there with elite guys. He sparred the Boots Ennises, he sparred the Terrence Crawford, so, and he at least in the gym, and you want to see that translate in these real fights.
And not take shots like that. Pulling out after an exchange. Another sneaky uppercut gets in for Perez.
Norman better be careful because Perez is getting closer and closer, and he may not be a one-punch knockout guy, but he could put 2 and 3 together and you can be hurt.
Perez with that lead left hand down to the body. Looking to mix it up here in these exchanges. Not a lot of these punches landing flush, Dre, but still maybe showing a little bit of some ring generalship or kind of reminding him like I'm still very much constantly putting on the pressure.
Absolutely.
Drive here in your own car, got to go home after this.
I'm not complaining.
A rare home game for
yes.
you, Andre Ward. All right. Penultimate round. This one's scheduled.
I think it's warranted, and I think he's got to answer the call. But in the meantime, Perez is pressing forward, and he's punching.
And the matchmakers at Top Rank know what they're doing. I mean, you got a guy, yeah, he has 4 losses. He's coming out of, you know, loss, win on his record. But all those losses are by unanimous decision against, you know, 2.
About it. They're watching and processing and studying what does this guy really have. And I'm talking about Norman.
Norman with a nice left hand to the body. Back to the jab, 1-2 hook, and then right back answering is Perez. Gets
in a tough fight, but we saw him have these surges where he stayed strong all the way through. We're just not seeing that in this fight. And that's part Norman and part Perez.
And it's kind of, I'm curious, I do agree that that explosiveness that we've seen from him in the past, even just as recent as his last fight, just not
forward, be tough, be durable, and keep pressing the action. And he's landing more and more.
Exactly. I was going to say, and he keeps each round. He used to be like, oh, that was one good shot, and then it's two, and then it's three.
Threes, yes.
Jesus Perez, but it looks like they got it under control, and here's the 8th round.
If I'm Perez, I want to close big. I have no idea how the judges are scoring this, and I want to finish this fight strong and try to get a shot through and try to hurt the young fighter.
Nice shot there. Lands as Perez.
It sounds brutal if you're at home and you're not a boxer, but you want to target that eye, the eye that's bleeding, and you want to try to hit it as often as you can. But there goes Norman dropping his left hand, drifting back, and Perez counters with an overhand right.
It's a nice counter shot. He saw that jab coming, and that jab has been peppering that side of his face all fight long.
Good right hand from Norman, but an answer from Perez didn't land, but he tried.
A nice body shot gets in from Norman there, and then there's a counter stick shot from Perez.
Good exchanges from both men.
Butler. Norman Jr. stood in there and fought instead of moving around the outside of the ring. But maybe that blood's bringing that energy.
I think it's the blood and it's the last round. He can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Takes a shot and then gives a shot down to the body.
Perez should go. Let both hands go. He should go right now.
Both fighters getting shots in here. Just under a minute to go now in this 8th.
We saw Norman fight his last fight.
And what maybe we thought more of. Your uppercut gets in from Perez.
That's what you want if you're Perez. You can't hurt him if you don't throw.
We'll just start the fight over from right now.
Yeah. Or maybe go two more.
Right,
two
that's
more
it.
rounds.
Why not?
Good shot on the top of the head from Perez with that overhand right.
Jab, and then answer with Norman, that right hand right under that left elbow. There's the body shot. There's a nice left hand that gets in for Norman.
Best round of the fight for both fighters.
Oh, nice left hand.
Oh, just missed that.
Misses with that shot. Goes right back to it. Definitely not a knockdown there as they get their feet tangled up. But that's it. That's the end of the fight. Come on, that was the best round of the fight, and it's got to end. It's got to end like
I'm
that.
telling you, they saw the light.
Oh,
they said we can let it all hang out. This fight.
Royal scores it 78-74, all in favor of your winner by unanimous decision. Brian, the Assassin 2, Norman Jr.
And Brian Norman Jr., your winner by unanimous decision, improves his record now to 24-0 with.
Okay, gentlemen, you both received your instructions in your dressing room. Right here is good. Right here is good. I want a good, clean fight. Obey my commands at all times. Above all, protect yourselves at all times. Let's go.
It looks a little bit dry as he comes out here for his first 10-round fight.
Looks a little bit dry. And he makes his opponents have to think a lot quicker than what,
Come on, hands free. Let him go. Stop.
Than what they would like to. He does a lot of trickery, like a lot of trick things in there. Moving side to side, very well schooled. He slows down the pace. As you can see, Norman right now having a hard time getting to him. So what did he do? He rushed him.
Norman trying to jab as Randall tries to connect with the same punch. And you see that pressure that Randall puts on Norman puts on Randall, and Randall's just calm, cool, collected.
See, but this is where Norman wants to work. He wants to work in close. He likes mid-range to inside. He doesn't like to mix it up too much on the inside. He likes to keep his distance. He can do it, but he likes to keep his distance and box from the outside and catch guys as they coming in.
Hands free. Don't hold him.
Short right hand from Quentin Randall, you talk about
nice little stab jab downstairs, changing. And that was an attempt right there to catch Norman on the way in with the right hand. Norman's going to have to think a lot faster than he's ever thought in any fight in this matchup against Randall.
Ooh, nice right hand from
Look at that.
Randall. 20.3 more punches than his opponents do, Tim. Just almost impossible to hit.
Defensive master. Defensive master. And it's all done by his feet. I mean, the first line of defense, I've always tell people all the time, like, first line of defense is first for a reason. It's number one.
Hands free, hands free.
It's the best way to avoid a shot.
And the fact that he's now standing in front of opponents, he's not, you know, a lot of people say, oh, he's running.
He knows what he needs to do. He gets right outside that mid-range, and he controls that space in between. And when you attack him, he takes a half a step back, and then he comes back and counter. But most of the time,
in his attempt to become a 3-division champion, taking on Edwin De Los Santos in his first world title attempt. That'll be for the vacant.
Right now, what you're seeing, what Randall is showing.
Nice body work from Norman with the right, and then follows up with a left hook to the head. Died in a car accident.
Man.
Then he had another baby pass away at birth, so he's had a lot of heartache. And he says, man, if it wasn't for Team USA, the time I spent with Kay Koroma, who's now his trainer as a pro, and that family, he said, I would have committed suicide.
Wow.
Hands free.
You do, but you from the outside looking in, you need to tell me what you need to do, what I need to do, Pops. Come on, man.
Sometimes it's
Can't make this up, man.
You know, sometimes it's tough for us to hear, but what we heard there from Brian Norman Sr. was like, you got to figure out. But then he did say, you can either go on the inside, you can work from the outside, but you've got to figure. Yeah,
How do you get to the inside? How do you close the distance? He's having trouble. He's having problems with the angles and the movement of Randall.
Yeah, this whole you figure it out is kind of like, we win and you lose. That's one of those mindsets, right?
As a Randall, and then you look ordinary. They make you look ordinary. It's important, a part of your development, to have different styles to deal with different challenges. And that's
as he tries to find a way in. Nice jab there from Norman.
See, it's with the jab. You jab at the chest, you jab downstairs, you look to time his rushes like that, you use the feints. You know, you move side to side. See, he's coming straight in. You want
the wrinkles that he could use to at least complicate this fight.
Well, right now, it's just the intensity and just working his hands of Norman.
Hands free, hands free.
That's getting the best of.
Some blood on the nose of Randall.
On the nose.
Nice 1-2 combination from Brian Norman. Very good body work with the right.
Stop, 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 stop. That's an open glove. Here we go. Don't hold him, don't hold him. Hands free. Stop, 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 stop.
See, it's funny because Norman's getting actually in the inside, but he's not actually working his hands. He's actually smothering himself instead of giving himself a little space to be able to work his offense.
Yeah, I mean, it's a chess match right now. Nice right uppercut as Randall was holding and punching, but referee Tony Weeks caught him on that.
But it's really not. I mean, rounds now easily. Norman is just with his activity alone. No, he's not landing anything crazy and powerful, but he's just a more active fighter right now.
Nice uppercut from
Randall.
Randall.
That was a nasty uppercut right there. Good hook.
Ooh.
Stop, stop.
Here are your updated live odds for Norman against Randall. -700 for Norman Jr. And we remind you, you can go to ESPN Bet, the app that launched this week. We invite you to download the app, and you can bet not only on this fight, Manuel Navarrete against Robson Conceição for the junior lightweight title, as well as the vacant WBC lightweight belt, which will be at stake when Shakur Stevenson takes on Edwin De Los Santos. ESPN Bet, we invite you to join the family.
Stop, stop.
Norman told us in the fighter meetings that we're going to see the best Norman. I've yet to see that.
Yeah, this is probably his most confounding fight because he's had trouble getting inside on Quinton Randall. And all the stuff that worked against lesser opposition, Tim, is not working tonight. And he's got to find the combination to this lock.
Well, he's smothering himself.
Yes.
That's all it is. It's smothering himself. He struggles with distance.
His corner, Derek Collinsworth, saying, look, I don't want to yell instructions. I don't want people to know what I want you to do, but you got to do something.
Stop, let him up.
Norman not coming in behind the jab at all. And Randall not throwing enough punches.
Stop.
Good body shot. Oh my goodness. Right hand over the top by Randall. Look. I try to be, look, Bernardo, I try to be as nice as I possibly can.
Moving up to 140 momentarily. Then you have Shakur at number 8 and then Gervonta Tank Davis. The best thing would be if they would fight each other, then there would be no discussion, but that seems like a pipe dream at this point.
Wow, nice
body shot.
Oh,
Randall.
my gosh.
Stop, let him up.
Nice fake with the left and then stab right down to the body.
Nice jab there from Randall.
Randall right now is managing his time right now, managing his energy. He's looking for spots to be able to land. I would love if he was to keep his back up off the ropes and stay in the center of the ring. That'll suit him a lot better. I mean, Norman right now, again, that's where he wants his opponent, but he's not letting his hands go because he's smothering himself.
Shot to the back of the head there from
Break himself. He's looking to rest for a second himself.
You know what, Tim? I expected a lot more from this fight.
But that's what I'm saying.
Come on, hands free.
Look, man.
Go on now. Stop, let him up.
That.
Very correct.
But I just thought that he would know a little bit more than what I'm seeing right now. Like, he looks like a regular guy to me.
Yeah.
Like a regular guy.
Right and left, and that combination really opened the spigot on the nose of Quinton Randall. The blood had been emanating from his nose, and I think, is there a cut now, or is that from?
A cut.
Or is that from the nose? Don't say that one. That is a cut over the right eye of Brian Norman Jr. So they're both bleeding here in round number 6. And use his emotions inside that ring.
Come on, hands free there, hands free.
That's your corner?
That's his corner.
Man, that's a shame. That's a shame.
It takes more than telling them what to do. You have to help these guys find a way how to do it. We could do ESPN Plus ringside the rest of the way, too.
And look,
but people might go to sleep.
I'm starting to go to sleep already. You see the crowd starting to get still.
Stop, let him up.
Smothering and swarming style of Norman Jr. doesn't allow him to do that. So, therefore, we're stuck at a mid-range or inside range battle that neither fighter excels at.
Exactly.
More cars are starting to set up for the first round of practice. You see the cars inside the paddock. The Ferrari there on the right, the Red Bull of Max Verstappen on the left. They will be first out, a.m. Eastern, 12 midnight here on the West Coast. All in preparation for Saturday's Las Vegas Grand Prix. Nice right uppercut there from Randall.
Oh, that was a nice placed body shot right there.
Hey, you know, this is one of those fights that...
Right.
Hands free in there.
Nice body work from Randall. There you go. He's waking up here in the 8th round.
He must have heard me. He must have heard me.
Stop, I got you.
Did you come here to win, son? Did you come here to win? Show us that you did come here to win.
Part of Riyadh season. Tyson Fury head-to-head, literally, against Alexander Usyk. And, Tim, there's no guarantee that Anthony Joshua gets by Valine and that Deontay Wilder gets past Joseph Parker.
I don't know why. I think it's going to be a decent fight. But as soon as Deontay Wilder lands that right hand, it's fight night. It's good night.
You know what's good night?
What?
Well, it's not a good night for these fight fans because they're booing.
Oh, it's good night.
Brian Norman
I'm falling asleep.
That's the only good night.
Hands free, hands free. Uh-oh.
And it's coming forward, and that's Norman. You know, although he's very limited with his offense,
No, stop,
very
stop.
limited with his approach, he's still trying to make a fight.
Oh, hands free.
Randall's
hands
pot
free.
shotting. Norman staying aggressive, ineffective but aggressive. But that's the
Hands free,
problem. We
hands
look
free.
for effective aggressiveness.
Yes.
More landed for Brian Norman Jr., and he's only cleared 10 punches twice in this fight. And that happened in the first and in the fourth round with exactly 10 punches landed, Tim. Not the type of activity we expected for two welterweights, Tim. They're not heavyweights, they're welterweights.
Stop,
Two
stop, I got you.
welterweights.
You saw the ESPN Bet live odds minus 2,000 in favor of Brian Norman Jr., plus 1,000 for Quentin Randall. Even money that the fans are booing.
Yeah.
We invite you to join the ESPN Bet family. Nice left hook
right
there
there.
from Brian Norman. He woke up.
Good shot, right on the heart.
Stop, stop, stop.
Oh, nice
Nice
uppercut.
body shot, too.
Stop, I got you.
Falling in after his combinations. Doesn't know how to fight at mid-range or inside.
Right,
Smothering
hands
his
free,
work.
hands free in there.
Doesn't fight that well off the back foot. I mean, there's a lot of things that he can go back to the gym and work on.
Well, this should be a learning experience for Brian Norman Jr. to say you can't just fight the same way your entire life. And
Brian, the assassin, Norman Jr.
Brian Norman Jr. improves to 25-0.
Commands at all times, and most importantly, protect yourself at all times. Trunks are good here, trunks are good there. Touch them up.
He said, against Quentin Randall, I was smothering myself. I worked on that. I need to be more entertaining, so I need to establish my jab because...
Yeah, Bocachica has a ton of experience. This competition, he's used to this type of competition and resistance that's coming near him. And definitely hinder your performances. But look, no one's looking for any excuse. It's not dripping into the eye as of now. But all it takes is one punch and that blood splatter. And get
Nice right hand from Bocachica as Norman goes down. Natural boxer because you dropped the guy for the first time in his career. You can put yourself in harm's way.
Put some water in this cup. That's what you do when your fighter goes down. You got to
Another
revive.
short right there from Bocachica that cut.
And he's cut.
Now he's cut on the right side of his face, so he'd been cut against.
Let him out.
If not, it's a no decision.
No decision.
10 seconds.
That's why Norman is trying to put the
It continues to happen because nothing is being done about it.
100% quicker that way.
Yes.
There's a jab from Brian Norman. Nice left hook there from Bocachica as he tries to pressure Norman up against the ropes.
So he's feeling contact and he's coming right back. Bocachica is there to be hit. He's not getting out of range. Bocachica coming to fight. He's coming to fight, man.
You know, he's more of a boxer, an aggressive boxer,
Right in
but
the back of the head.
Bocachica's trying to smother Norman's long right. from
Bocachica got good timing.
Yeah, and so I don't know if that had anything. Let's take a look at these cuts that were caused by...
Our ringside physician calls a stop to this bout at the conclusion of the third round due to an accidental headbutt in round number 1. Too much excessive bleeding, says the doc. So this bout is a no decision.
So it is not a no contest, it's a no decision here.